Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Good afternoon to everybody from Colorado. It's 2:30ish here on the eastern slope. Temperature is 73, and it's overcast. I don't know if it's going to rain or not. I'm not sure. Not in charge of the rain thing today. Second podcast for today. I have the engine going, have a little bit of air conditioning on, not very much, just a very little bit. But I wanted to come back on and do another little podcast. I will really try to be short on this one. But I've been thinking, I've been running into a couple people out on the street the last few days. And just by happen chance, and just decide to talk to them and, hey, what's going on? How are you? Kind of idea. And the responses I got were thought-provoking. And I said, I won't do anything with it now, but I might want to do a podcast about that. So here's the responses that I got. I was over in some county buildings on Saturday, and I go through the parking lot, and I pick up change. The remarkable thing, and I had said this in a podcast before, but I end up with like all quarters and dimes and very few nickels and very few pennies. And it's always a really productive, big parking lot, right, for change. And I do that every weekend, and it kind of kills some time, and I drink some coffee, and it's no big deal. It's just fun. And I'm accumulating this big old bag of change. That's kind of been a bonus. And they're quarters. For some reason, I've been finding, yesterday I was, shopping somewhere and in some parking lot, and I found a couple quarters. This morning, I get this super salad thing. I had talked about it before. It's just real healthy, all green. Everything that God makes that's green is in this salad. And I go over every day and I eat it. I buy it earlier. Sometimes I have two. Today I was going to have two. I had one this morning, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And when I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to go have another one, and that's my food for the day. Right? Very cool. So what do I find? I find $6. I'm not unhappy about that at all. So I just throw it in the bag with the rest of the money that I find. So I run across this younger Mexican kid, good looking kid, kind of thin, head down, sitting on a curb in the parking lot. I'm going to turn the air conditioner off a little bit. Engine still running. Hope it's not making too much noise. And he's got, what's he got? Some kind of a bag with him. I don't know what the bag was. But at any rate, I just says, hey, what's going on? And he didn't say a whole lot. And I decided to press it. And I said, how you doing? And he said, blah, blah, blah. Something about not good. And I asked him if he was okay, physically, of course. And he said he's been homeless for 3 years. And he has, what he said was he has no family or friends. And nobody to turn to, to go crash on their couch kind of idea. Or no one to get a grub stake off of, or no one to get a sandwich from periodically, or a can of pop, or whatever. I don't care. It sounded like family and friends, but I'm not sure about all that. And I just kind of explained to him, I don't have any family. I don't have any relatives, no parents, no sibs. I don't have anybody in my life. I don't, really have a whole lot of friends, and I don't have anyone either. And I said, we sort of, for this reason or that reason, we end up in those situations, and we get used to it. And I said, here's the thing that's kind of interesting, is that whether you had people or you didn't, nobody's coming out here to save you. Kind of reality, huh? I said this the other day to you guys. I just said to him, I says, nobody's coming out here to save you, whether you had a whole family or not, or friends or colleagues or partners or gangsters or homies or whatever. Nobody's coming out here to save you. And I said, it's up to you to make it what it is. It's up to you, to decide how good or how bad this is all turning out to be. And he sort of looked at me with this look like, well, I might just decide to, not be real friendly with you right now. I didn't mean to piss him off, but I guess he was just feeling hurt, And I said, here's the deal. I'm out here all on my own. I come through here every weekend, and I drive that truck over there, right? Anytime you see me, you want something, you need something, if it's legit, you just stop me and say, hey, John, come on over here and sit down. Or, here's what I need. I said, I don't have a whole lot of money, so don't be asking me for a lot of money. But if you need a little something here and there, maybe I can help you out with it. Or if you need a ride somewhere, because he didn't even have a bicycle. Now, I know a guy who collects old abandoned bikes. He's got like 500 of them. And I am going to track him down and go over into his warehouse of old bikes and grab one that's runnable. And I'm going to find this kid again, and I'm going to give him a bike so he isn't walking everywhere, because it appears that all he does is walk. I don't even know where he walks to. I don't know. I guess he's staying behind. There's an alley behind these kind of grocery stores and abandoned buildings and stuff. He must live back in there. But anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. It made me kind of feel bad, and there's an awful lot of people out there that are hoping and wishing for something better. And I'm not sure that always happens. Here's another example. Let me see if I can remember this one. So, let's see, how does this one go? It's another case where nobody's going to come and save you. So, I met a guy that is homeless for the most part and doesn't have a whole lot of people in his life, right? And he knows a few people. Not very many, but a few. And he was telling me that some business that had trouble with, I don't know, kids or somebody breaking in their back. They had about an acre behind the building, and they were climbing over the fence and, I don't know, stealing stuff or vandalizing things. They had to put the barbed wire up, and then they eventually put video cameras. But at one point they asked him if he wanted to live back there. You know, it would be good both for them and for him. And he had gone back to these people, I don't know, a year or two later, and approached them with that question, because I guess his times were not real good. So he was looking for a place to call home, and the back acre of that business sounded pretty good. And when he approached them, he said they just flat out said no. Not interested in having you live back there. And I felt bad for him too. You know, he wasn't doing anything other than being homeless, and tried to make it as long as he could, and felt like he needed to call in some markers. And you know, this was one of the markers, and when he went to do it, it was no longer available. They just had decided to do something different, I guess. So, met another guy that lost everything. I don't know. Everybody loses at something, right? They make some bad mistakes and they lose stuff. They lose real estate. They lose money. They lose stuff. And jobs and income. And they lose, in turn, they lose respect. Right? And I thought, as he was kind of telling me his story, and of course I had heard this story many times before, as you have heard these stories many times before. If you make a mistake, people don't forget. Whether you made the mistake or not, people don't forget. What's the old saying in psychology? If somebody says that guy killed somebody, whether he did or not, you will always think of that person as a guy who had killed somebody, whether he did or not, whether there is proof to it or not. It doesn't matter about vindication. It just, you just lose all respect for that person. And a lot of people end up in that situation. They make mistakes. Okay, fine. Sometimes they don't make mistakes. It's just assumed they made a mistake. Got into a bad situation. Life got worse. And once life gets worse, you'd be surprised how fast people leave you alone. They lose respect for you. They're not there for you. And I've heard from quite a few different people. The amazing part is the first ones to leave, are family, friends, colleagues. Everybody wants to distance themselves from you. Everybody wants to distance themselves from you. And vindication doesn't even matter. Because if you somehow found a way to vindicate yourself. Remember the story about the guy who had killed somebody who really didn't kill anybody? Well, that's the memory you have. Well, you still have the memory of this person having made a mistake, whether you actually know the truth or not. You just lose respect for that person, and you don't care whether they're vindicated or not by whomever or not. That's just the way life is. And the way you read that, the way you read that is that there's a lot of people out there that are hurting, right? In all kinds of different ways. Emotional, physical, spiritual, financial, relationship-wise, family-wise. I don't care. They're hurting out there, and they want you to feel as bad as they feel. That's part of, or one of the reasons that people are not very supportive when you make a mistake or not. When they decide to distance you, sometimes it can be because of their hurt. If I hurt, you're going to hurt. You understand? So back to our young Mexican kid out in the parking lot sitting down there on the curb. I don't know what he did wrong. I don't even care what he did wrong. Everybody deserted him. He's a young kid, so does he probably have a mom or dad somewhere? Probably. Does he have sibs? I don't know. Probably aunts, uncles, relatives, friends, at one time, colleagues, homies. Yeah, probably there's some people out there that knew him before and still know of him, but they've deserted him because they all might be hurting in some fashion, and therefore they want him to hurt as well. Or what's the Bible verse? He who throws the first stone. Just the whole idea, maybe they see themselves as holier than thou. Non-sinners. Don't make mistakes. And therefore, if it's suggested this person did something wrong, we don't associate with people like that. Whew. Oh, man. Talk about disease coming to find you. So, the world's kind of a hard place to live. And we really need to take care of ourselves and expect nothing from others. And give as much as we possibly can with nothing expected in return. So there's a whole bunch of people out on the planet that I run into in my daily travels that have been ostracized, abandoned. Boy, there's a psychological word, abandoned. And for whatever the reason the people have done this to those people, shame on you, number one. Number two, you better get a good health insurance policy. Number three, you better get your ass to church every day and pray that God will forgive you. Because sooner or later you're going to have to answer for what you're doing. It's sort of like if you're sinking, nobody wants to go help you keep your head above water because you might pull them under and you both might sink and drown. It's that crazy, you guys. It's that crazy. So I guess I don't know. I'm just running into more and more situations like that. I see the people that are the homeless people that have supposedly made the mistakes or not. I don't know if they did or not. I just see them getting more bitter and angry. And I don't see anyone attempting to communicate with them in any way. And in turn, they withdraw more, and their thoughts become probably not more positive, but more negative. And then they start attracting more negative stuff in their life. And the cycle just gets deeper and deeper. To hell with the people who have abandoned them. They've got enough problems of their own, and I'm not sure how they justify or rationalize all that in their own head. But the takeaway is that we have to get up each morning with the intention of giving and not taking. We have to get up each morning with the intention of I'm okay. No matter what I've done, mistake or no mistake, I'm still a good person, and I can be of service to others. And for those that have abandoned me, I forgive them. And maybe it'll take me a while to sit on this curb until I can get my thoughts collected and get on with my life. And the way that progresses is through gratitude. You get up each morning and you have gratitude that you have clothes on your back. You had some food yesterday. There's a possibility of a job in the future. I still can dream. Gratitude for anything. I can see, I can hear, I can walk. I am so grateful to be talking to this other person who just wandered in front of my face. And then from there, with the gratitude, then it's about giving. Sometime today, I'm going to find some person to help. I don't know what I can do. Maybe I can say hello. Maybe I can interact. Maybe I could give a person a ride. Maybe I could walk down the block with somebody. Maybe I could, who knows what it is. I'm going to help somebody. And then from there, it grows on from that. So the takeaway is not about the people that abandoned you, but about how you believe in yourself, how you have forgiven yourself, whether you did anything or not. The compassion you have for yourself, the love you have for yourself, the compassion and love you have for other people, the gratitude you have for being on the face of the earth today. Doesn't sound like much, but I think there's highly successful, prominent, influential people that have lived less of a life and have given more to the world than a lot. So anyway, I'm always around for coaching and consultation as usual. Look forward to having somebody call me up. That would be great. And God bless everybody. Boy, I say that every day, but there's a lot of people out here that are really hurting. And, you know, God bless everybody. We need to take care of one another. Oh boy, is that important. So I'll look forward to talking to you guys all again, and hope you all have a good day, and see you all and talk to you all again tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye.